Hi, my name is Lara McGoy, and my topic was Kentucky budget cuts and pension cuts for education. So, not a lot of people know this if you aren't really affected by it directly, but the Kentucky Senate on March 20th, 2018, passed a budget bill that would slash funding for the teachers' retirement system and move it to pension plans for state employees and police. So, what this means is that the government basically decided to no longer fund the teachers' retirement plan, and are now, teachers are no longer set up to get any type of retirement when they retire from teaching. Not only did they do this, but they also overall did budget cuts for education in general. So, they are taking quite a significant amount of money away from the education of our future children, our current children, just our future generations. They're no longer going to be getting what they deserve. They're going to be getting the bare minimum. The Senate budget reverses a policy adopted by lawmakers about 2 years ago to increase funding for the Teachers Pension Fund by $500 million a year. According to Stephanie Winkler from the Lexington Herald, the president of the Kentucky Education Association, said that the move to slash funding for the pension fund, I think it's a direct retaliation against the fact that public education happens to have a loud voice, but it's hard to say. We were surprised to see it. So, not even someone who's in the loop, you could say, was expecting this cut or even this big of a cut. It is really drastic when you really look at all that is needed to go into funding so many children getting an education. As of now, the government is only giving what is required for them to give the bare minimum, which is about $490 million in 2 years. So instead of going above and beyond of what we can do, they've decided to give the bare minimum, and they don't really care about what it could be doing to our future generations. The budget eliminated about $1.8 million in funding from Fayette for professional development, instructional materials, and support for new teachers. So they're no longer going to be getting the things they need and deserve. They're going to be getting the bare minimum, like I've said. As far as the employer match for the county employees retirement system, which covers school district classified employees in addition to city and county workers. According to the Lexington Herald, the 9.1 million is equal to about 150 teachers. And this was said by the district budget director, Julianne Mullins. So basically, this cut they're doing is the equivalent to 150 teachers getting laid off at one time. That is how much money they are taking away from our education. And not only is this going to cause for just the overall effect on children, but they're gonna go from having big classrooms to even bigger classrooms. I know for me, when I was in elementary school, I had about 29 to 30 children in my class, and with one teacher. We can expect those levels to only rise now because so many teachers are going to be being laid off. So during this cut, the investment for school safety and security, or just an increase in funds for mental health, did not happen. So those are two things, especially in this time and what has been going on recently in schools, is something that should be taken very seriously, and unfortunately was not. A lot of schools don't have the correct, safety precautions, and they don't have the mental health options for children that should be there, especially because you never know what is going on in a child's life at home. So those are things that should have been very well stressed and should have gotten money approved for at least. Because of the budget cuts, there could be a few things that happen. So there could be fewer school days in a year. There could be fewer art and music programs, reductions in career and technical education, and more fees for students and their parents to pay. I know a lot of parents rely on after-school activities or programs for their children to go to, and it could even affect transportation. And I know a lot of parents cannot pick their children up. So this could be affecting how their children get to school, get to and from school, which could overall be a safety concern because you don't want too many children on one bus. If there are any further cuts, it could force more significant reductions in educational programs and services, layoffs, or even school closings. So, not only could it affect and make classrooms bigger, but it could also make them exponentially bigger and cause schools to actually close down. According to the Lexington Herald, the report said that Kentucky's per student inflation and adjusted cuts to its core funding formula, SEEK, since 2008 are the third worst in the nation. There are district reports of them being unable to give raises or being able to provide necessities for learning, such as things as simple as textbooks. If you can't provide a child as simple as something as a textbook, there's something wrong. Each child should be able to take home their own textbooks every night to be able to expand their learning to the fullest, and as of right now, they can't even do that for them. Something is seriously needs to be done about this problem. They need to come to an agreement, whether it's, putting the funding back up, but something has to be done. We can't keep letting our public schools go down the drain. And if it continues to go this way, that's what's going to happen. There's going to be less public schools. More parents are going to be homeschooling or private schools, and public schools will basically become nothing but a thought. And public schools are very, very necessary for the development of children and their futures. So I think it's something that we definitely need to take into concern and really start thinking about what needs to be done. Thank you.